Hello Year 1, it's Mrs. Seagood. How are you all? I hope you're doing well and keeping safe. This is our final week of learning at home before half term. In English this week, we are going to be learning to write a report about an animal. You will have an activity to do each day in your workbook. I hope you enjoy your learning. We are going to be writing a non-chronological report. This is a special kind of report that doesn't need to be written in a set order. It doesn't have to follow a sequence all the way through. But before we do our writing, what do we need to do first? Have a little think. First, we need to plan our report. And we're going to complete our planning using something called a spidergram. The aim of these first sessions is to organise your writing using a spider diagram. You'll know if you've done this because you'll be able to pick out the things that are important and the jobs they do. You can explain why it's important to plan your writing, and you can use the spider diagram to help you organise your work. Why is it that we need to read and write reports? They're used to give us information, and we can also use them to give other people information. And if we want to find something out, we can look it up. The non-chronological report means that the information does not need to be organised in a special order. Before we start writing, we must remember to plan our work. This helps us to organise our ideas and the information that we have. It also means that we can organise our information into different areas called subheadings so that it's easier for the reader to follow. A subheading is like a mini title in your writing. And we can also make sure that we organise what we're going to put into each section to make sure our writing is nice and clear. Step 1. The first thing we need to do is to decide the title of the report and write this in the centre. For the example, the title is Guinea Pigs. We start off with a circle and write the animal inside. Next, we have to organise the information that we want to include by deciding the main parts. There is a subheading for each of the main sections, and these become our plan. We must have an introduction so that the person reading knows what our report is about. Within our report, we have 5 sections. Number 1, the introduction. Number 2, what do they eat? Number 3, interesting facts. Number 4, where do they live? And number 5, what do they look like? Today, I would like you to choose the animal that you are going to write about and then complete the first part of your spider diagram. Have a think now and get your book ready to go. Copy the diagram into your workbook, adding the name of the animal that you have chosen into the middle. It doesn't have to be a guinea pig. I would then like you to choose the 5 headings that are around the outside and add those to your diagram as well. You can add one more at the top if you would like to, but you don't have to. Pause the video now whilst you copy the diagram. Next, I would like you to start adding your information to 2 of your subheadings. The next slide shows you how to do this for the what do they eat section. Now it's time to plan what you're going to write in each part. Remember to include the key facts. You don't need to write in full sentences, just add enough information for you to understand. You can then add more detail and description later on. For the what do they eat section, we have added grass and vegetables, foods like grass and hay for their teeth, and they drink water to stop getting thirsty. They get a lot of water from eating grass. Today, I would like you to start adding your information to the rest of your headings. The next slide shows you again how to do this for the What Do They Eat section. By the end of today's session, so Tuesday, you should have the main information for each section of your report. Here is the example again to help you. Pause the video if you need to. Wednesday's learning. Today we're going to be editing our plans to make sure they are as detailed as possible. But what is editing? Pause the video whilst you have a think of what this question might mean. Editing is where we look at our first try at something and see what we can do to make it better. It doesn't mean that what we started with is wrong or not very good. It just helps us to make sure our work is as good as it possibly can be. Step 4. Check through your plan and add any important words or technical language to each section that you think the reader will find interesting. For example, for the grass and vegetables, we've now added in that they are vegetarians. In the foods like grass section, they've added tough foods and hay to grind their teeth, and they've added in that they drink day or night. This little bit of extra information will just help the reader learn even more about guinea pigs. Your editing task. I'd like you to read through your plan and check that you have used the very best words that you can. Have you included all of the detail you need? By the end of today, Wednesday, you should be ready to write your report. Thursday and Friday. Your final challenge this week is to write your non-chronological report about your chosen animal. I've included some different examples to show you what they can look like, but you may choose how you want to set yours out. Example 1 is about pandas. It has a nice title at the top. The information is spread out around the page, and there's some different pictures, and then a question at the end, which is then in a separate box, which helps to make it stand out. Example 2 is about elephants. It has a big, bold title, a couple of pictures, and the information is included in 2 separate boxes to help separate it up and make it nice and easy to read. The fun facts section is also written as bullet points rather than lots of separate sentences. The final example is about emperor penguins. It's quite similar to the first one, but has a lot more detail. It still has a title, and each box has its own subheading, like we've been using this week. There are also still some pictures. You can also see that within the writing, some of the words are different colours, and these are because these words are words that you would find in a glossary that tell us more about penguins or something to do with them. Step 5. When you're happy with your plan, it's now time to write your report. Use the checklist below to edit your finished report. This list just includes the things that I'd be looking at when I mark your work. Have a look at this list and make sure that when you've finished, you've included as many of these things as you can. Use your plan to help you organise your work. Make sure you use the different subheadings to make different sections. Look at the examples to help you and decide which one you would like your work to look like. Add pictures and colour to make it look fun and interesting. You can work on paper or in your workbook. You could also use the computer if you'd like to type up your work instead. Remember, this is your English work for 2 days. Don't rush. I know you can do it. I can't wait to read them and see what you've been learning about. Have fun!